Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, let's talk about the shutdown as far as the airlines are concerned, the 10% reduction since Friday and how many flights were actually canceled and what the ramifications of that is for people trying to get to cruise ships and travel, etc. Plus, we have one cruise line who is stepping up during this situation and in a good way, and good on them. This is great news for people sailing with this cruise line. So that's right, last Thursday, the FAA came out and announced that they are cutting flights across the United States at 40 different airports. Of course, all the busiest airports like Dallas, Houston, Miami, Los Angeles, New York, etc. Plus, there's 40 airports are going to, O'Hare, they're all going to be reduced by 10%. And the reason for this is that, because of the ongoing shutdown, the air traffic controllers are overworked right now because they are not being paid, and many of them are just calling in sick. Well, now they're on mandatory overtime. That's right, they're working 6 days a week, mandatory, with the overtime, and they're not getting paid. And so the FAA has decided that this is a little bit dangerous to have this many people working that many hours, all doing, stuff like keeping us safe while we're in the air, right? So we want people as aware and as awake and an alert as possible, so they're cutting down the air traffic by 10%. Now, this 10%, what did it do just this weekend alone? Well, on Friday, 1,000 flights were canceled in the US. The following day, Saturday, 1,500 flights were canceled, and by midnight on Saturday for Sunday, another 1,000 flights have been canceled. Now, luckily, most of these have been able to be rebooked on other flights for passengers, but as this goes on and on, this might not be the case, especially as we approach Thanksgiving weekend and holiday weekends like Christmas and New Year's if this continues to go on. Also, they are also telling people now that this is not only affecting, flights for passengers traveling, it's also affecting cargo. Cargo is also being reduced by 10%, which means there will be a slowdown in shipping and goods, etc. Once again, causing concerns about stuff coming into the holidays going on. But it's something that we need to deal with now as travelers. We need to prepare for this. We need to plan our trips and our flights. We need to give ourselves more time to get through border security because randomly it's backed up at random airports across the United States. And in Canada, by the way, folks, because when you're flying from Canada to the United States, you do go through U.S. customs here in Canada at the major airports, Montreal, Toronto, etc. And so you have to actually pass border security before you get on the flight. And so there have been many delays at the airports here in Canada at border control to fly into the United States. So if you're leaving anywhere on a trip right now, you want to give yourself as much time as possible just in case, because you don't know from one day to the next how long that delay is going to be. One day it can be 10 minutes and you're right through. The next day it can be 3.5 hours. And that's been the experience going forward right now. Hopefully, maybe as far as the border control is concerned, maybe the 10% reduction will help some of this, but as I said before, most of that is regional carriers. Most of that is the smaller flights from the smaller destination to a hub. Those are the flights being canceled and being rebooked on other flights. They're cutting those down, and the major flights, hub to hub or international long travel, seem to be the least affected. So that's where we stand. 3,500 flights in the United States canceled this weekend alone. that number will only climb every single day and get worse as we get closer to Thanksgiving in the United States, as well as, of course, Christmas. Hopefully this is all over well before that happens, but just in case, one cruise line is coming out and says they got our backs, and that's Virgin Cruise Line. And they've come out and said, you know, we're always the cruise line that's a little bit different. We try to be passenger friendly, sailor friendly, if you will. That's what they call passengers on board. And so they're saying, look, if you truly cannot get to the ship because of flight cancellations, remember, you're gonna have to prove it. You're gonna have to give them your flight and your number, etc. And they have access to the flight information to find out if your flight was truly canceled, if they gave you another option to fly you know, an hour later and you still would have made the cruise ship. You literally would have had to miss your cruise. And if you truly do that, they are saying that you contact customer service and they will give you a future cruise credit for your sailing. So far, no other cruise line has come out and done that. So good on Virgin being the first one to offer this. It's going to be a bit of a pain for their customer service people when phone calls start coming in, when this starts to happen, verifying all these facts, etc. But they are making this offer to everybody, and that's a good thing. Because remember, most insurances, like for your vacation, do not cover things like government shutdowns. The flights being canceled because of government shutdowns, your insurance, unless you have cancel for any reason insurance. If you have cancel for any reason, when you call in, by the way, if you have this, when you call in this insurance, don't say you're canceling because of the government shutdown, because they won't pay you. Call and what you do is you just say, yes, I decided I can't go. And that's it. I'm not feeling well, I can't go. That's it. Cancel for any reason insurance means you can cancel for any reason, but don't give them a reason that they don't have to follow, like a government shutdown. They do not have to refund you for this situation. So please, if you have cancellation insurance, you're missing your cruise, just give them a reason. Oh, I have to work that weekend, now they won't let me off work. That sort of thing. But yeah, most travel insurance, even the cruise line insurance that you buy, will not cover a government shutdown as a reason. That's one of those in small, small print writing in your insurance policies that are out there. So yeah, and even my insurance that I have, it is a yearly insurance, and it does not cover shutdowns. So hence the reason that I always make sure I'm flying at least a day ahead of time to my destination, and sometimes 2 or 3, just to be safe. The farther I gotta go, the more time I give myself to get there in case something like this pops up. And yeah, who expected the FAA to say, yeah, we're just gonna cut 10% of flights today? Yikes. Let's hope again that this ends soon and we can not go through this during Thanksgiving, and even worse, Christmas. That would be an interesting time for everybody to try and travel. Well, let me know in the comments down below. Do you think every cruise line should offer what Virgin is? Remember, they're much smaller than a cruise company like Carnival or Royal. There's many less millions of dollars of potential loss there. So they can offer it. It's easier for them, but I still say good job. That is the first cruise line to offer something like this in a long time. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.